Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Huda London. This is for educational purpose only. This is the case of the Idaho quadruple murders that took place on the 13th of November 2022. This still shot shows that there's a car light flashing from 1122 Kings Road. This was between 2:58 up to 3:01, and we saw a black truck passing by the Taylor Avenue where the alcohol body cam video was released. I believe it's extremely important. I've showed that many times on my channel, but I'll explain why. So you can see that it's 1122 Kings Road. You can see it in black and white too. So that's clearly a car headlights flashing from 1122 Kings Road. And the second topic I wanted to discuss was Jack D. When he came on stage on the Memorial Day, we saw how Kaylee's father, Steve Congalvis, looked at him. Like he did not trust him. I wanted you all to pay attention to Jack D's hand. Look at how swollen it is. I've showed other pictures, a picture of his TikTok with injured fingers. He removed it out from his TikTok the very next day when he noticed people had checked his TikTok. You can see that his hand is really swollen. This was like 2.5 weeks after the quadruple murders. This is Jack D. It's 2013 Hyundai Elantra, I believe. He had 2 white cars parked in front of his house. One was a Hyundai Elantra. Now pay attention to Jack D. His fingers, how badly injured they were. Look at his knees, they're scraped. His knee is clearly scraped and his fingers looked very injured. There's another picture of Jack D standing on top of his roof where he has a clear sight to Kaylee's bedroom and a veranda, a balcony. You can see a Hyundai Elantra parked downstairs. It's allegedly Jack D's. I wonder if it was investigated. Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. I hope everyone's doing well and having a lovely summer vacation. Today I'd like to talk about the 2 topics that I showed you, which I believe is extremely important. Besides the Sigma Chi fraternity boys, obviously, and the role that they could have allegedly played in this quadruple murders. I'd like to start with the headlights that was flashing in front of 1122 Kings Road. That happened between 2:57, 2:58 a.m. in the morning. And I believe the same car or truck SUV drove past Taylor Avenue where Saeed and the 3 minors were standing with the undercover cops. The reason that I believe is open, that it is important, is because the door was left wide open. That's one thing. Another reason that I believe that it's extremely important is that I showed you recently a small part that I use as fair use purpose that was on Plunder, this channel. In the beginning of this case, on Facebook, there was a tripod cast or crew that had a tripod recording in front of or right behind 1122 Kings Road. They are students, they had it for their own purpose. And what they noticed, what the recording caught, was a blonde woman, a young female, running from behind 1122 Kings Road, that would say the sliding door, and running towards the front of 1122 Kings Road hysterically. She was yelling, screaming, hysterically, and running. So pay attention to things that are happening around the same time. The recording caught this around 2 a.m. in the morning. The car that we saw, or the truck, its headlights showed at 2:58 or 2:57 to 3:01. And then it passed, it passed Taylor Avenue. The tripod is recording showed not only was a female yelling and running hysterically, it actually showed a black truck parked in front of 1122 Kings Road. Even the times I do not upload clips for this Idaho Moscow case, I always have it at the back of my mind. I always think as a human being, what could have happened? Was it different organizations? Was this organized crime? Was this the students who did it? Or what could have possibly happened? I obviously, as a human being, think of the surviving roommates. I'm glad that they're alive. We don't need more tragedies than the 4 quadruple murder. But obviously, there are many questions with the surviving roommates that we are waiting to get answers for, hopefully soon. So let's start with this car, its headlight flashing from 1122 Kings Road. What a coincidence that the black SUV or the black truck drove past Taylor Avenue. If you pay attention to the clip where the car is flashing the light, I have it, I think I made it a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2-3 months down the line. If you go and check that, you can notice that that car that's headlight is flashing actually comes around Taylor Avenue, because the light flashing stops and then you see a car turning into Taylor Avenue. I showed you all a picture of Dylan, with a bunch of keys, car keys, and she's standing in front of a black truck that looked exactly like that car. Exactly like that truck. Rumors and speculations was going on in the beginning that her mother, or stepmother, owns a truck similar to that. If you remember that picture, she's wearing Vans shoes, a black pant, something black and brown on top, a jumper, and she has the keys holding it like that. We've even heard rumors that her boyfriend or former boyfriend, Quinn Kelly, was there. He was seen at 11 in front of 1122 Kings Road that night. DM and her boyfriend had many pictures that they took that night, but right after the horrific quadruple murders, they deleted it, or they put it into private. They put it they put it on VSOP, that's an app I believe that these kids use, and just like the 4chan, You can put in all kind of rubbish there. It doesn't necessarily mean it's true. But then when you have the 4chan talking about motives, targets, fights brewing from fall that led to this horrific quadruples, we have to ask ourselves how much is true and how much is false. I always try to balance the two. But the more I look into the 4chan, and I've been doing that for a very, very long time. Thank God many other people, other creators are jumping on to the 4chan now. The reason I always believe that there's something to the 4chan is when you look at the Davids and then go back to the Grub truck and you see David Lodge standing with his 3 buddies there, and he has his hands in his pockets. He keeps on looking at the direction of Maddie and Kaylee at the Grub truck. And what is strange is when they walk in, before they walk in, he's actually in his position near the window. As soon as the girls get closer with Jack S, and before they enter the Grub truck, you see David L and his 2 buddies turning their backs towards the Grub truck. They didn't want the girls to clock on. It was them. I do a lot of observation and I do a lot of active listening. And then I try to just link things together. If you'll remember from the beginning, I showed y'all what everyone was watching in the Grub truck, right from early last year. And now there are more people showing that too. Jack S clearly told the girls, Maddie, you know they're going to get you for that. What did Maddie do? Or more like, what did Maddie say to Adam? Because that was Kaylee's words to Maddie. Let's not forget that Adam was at the corner club. The girls were at the corner club from 10 p.m. that night right up to 1:30. That is at least 5 hours, almost 5 hours. I wonder how many drinks they had. The reason I say that is I personally believe the way Maddie was past intoxicated. I believe that somebody could have slipped them a roofie in their drink. I really believe that. You could even see Kaylee had no balance. Her legs were crossing. To start with, I don't mean any disrespect to the 4 victims. I'm very fond of them and I'm very fond of getting justice for them. These could have been my children. These could have been your children. Could have been our younger siblings. It could have been anyone. So I really want to get justice for them. But the reason that I'm mentioning how intoxicated the girls was, I'm not using it as fun, or having a laugh like Jack D, Joe Vito and his friends are doing. I'm really concerned about how much they had to drink or if roofies were slipped into their drinks. Because when Kaylee's walking and asking Maddie what she said to Adam, you can clearly see that Kaylee even doesn't have proper balance. Now, when the girls entered the Grub truck, you can clearly see that it seemed like everybody, or let me correct myself, most of the people in the Grub truck had some bad intentions. It looked like there was a plan that was already set up before the girls entered the Grub truck. These girls were clearly under surveillance. Whether it's from organized crime, whether it's about drugs, whether it's about money, whether it's about jealousy and hate, whether it's about revenge. Something was going on there. That same night, there was a party at the Sigma Chi. Let's make it clear here that the police did not have a timeline. I repeat, they did not have a proper timeline for the couple, E and Zana. The police were asking people to please contact them if they knew the couple's timeline. Why not Kaylee and Maddie? They wouldn't even have known what happened to Kaylee and Maddie or their timelines if Alivira, Kaylee's sister, did not ask the neighbors and see the footage. Now, that's another thing. For Alivira to say that her sisters did everything right by the buddy system, they took the buddy system, they came home safely, and they took the dog out, or they let the dog out to potty. I personally would believe that she must have seen that footage from the neighbors, like she said. So definitely the neighbors have the footage, the real footage of what exactly happened. We were told by the police that the dog was barking and all. Alivira, I'm sure, was told not to tell much, but she clearly said that her sister, the girls, that means Maddie and Kaylee, let the dog out to potty. So she must have seen that in the footage. The question is, were they attacked when they let the dog out to potty? I believe there's a lot of interesting things going on at Taylor Avenue. Many people actually talk about Linda Lane. Linda Lane could be a very good possibility, but I believe things are going on in Taylor Avenue. I've said this from day one. Because look at the Banfield boys. I call them the Banfield boys. The three boys and Saeed. They first, you remember when the police took their IDs and everything, and then the police took them across the road next to the police car? That's where Maddie's jacket or long coat was found in the bushes, allegedly. I believe there's a lot going on behind the bushes, because you see these three young lads keep on looking towards the bushes. Then we saw the black truck passing by. And what is strange enough is 12 minutes after that, or 10 minutes after that, exactly at 3:12, you see the four figures running. Now, this can't be all coincidence. I personally don't believe it is coincidence. I personally believe that the 4chan anonymous article has a lot to do with this case. Their plan was so well planned that they made sure that they did it in 90 minutes. This is not my words. This is the words of the anonymous person who put it. For the anonymous person, to say that you can clearly see the girl's house, he didn't mention which room, from one of the David's room. Is it David L., David Lott, or David B? You all can take your pick. But allegedly, this must have been brewing on for a long time, this beef and the fights that they had with E and Zana. But for them to actually plan this and if it was them who did it, that the plan went so well. Because if it was them, they did not get caught. They said they're not going to take a mobile device with them, a phone device, so that it doesn't catch Wi-Fi. These are people who know the house well, who've been inside the house, who know the girls well, who know exactly which rooms they were at. Like the 4chan said, they're going to wait for the lights to turn off. Now that is important. I remember them saying, when the lights turns off, we are going to do this in 19 minutes. No phone devices will be taken. We saw the four figures running. I personally believe that the three boys in the minor alcohol stop had. So when we see the four figures running, they're running from 1122 Kings Road direction to the Sigma Chi. But what I notice is when Saeed comes on the battlefield, he just appeared from nowhere. And I believe those three boys could have been involved because let's not forget the timeline. If we stick to the previous timeline, that's what I do. Because it makes more sense. You see the car flashing at 3:01. You hear the girls or you hear a female yelling, "Stop it, stop." For me, it seems like, these are all my thoughts, and these are just my speculations. It seems like Saeed appeared from nowhere. And if we go according to the previous timelines, which I really will go according to them because many of the things are quite right there, especially what's her name? Eaton is eating his mother and father said. I showed this in the beginning of the case when she said 2 a.m. is the hardest time for us all. She's talking about her family. And she could be talking about Xana's family too. What happened at 2 a.m.? I believe something happened to E and Xana. Because the police clearly don't know where those two were. Let's not forget that. They don't even know the timelines. Xana's father said that he called his daughter at 12 midnight. And she said, "Dad, I'm at home. I'm going to be chilling at home." Now we have BK on the other side saying that Bethany Funk has exculpatory evidence that can exonerate me. It's like a maths figure. 2 + 2 is 4 for me. What did BF see? What does she know? Let's not forget, Brian Christopher Koberger never mentioned DM. Dylan. He mentioned BF. BF attended the party at the Sigma Chi Fraternity. So whatever happened there, if a fight broke out like we allegedly heard, BF would know. If BF came home before Xana and Eve, she could have easily left the door unopened. I'm not accusing the surviving roommates, but I'm saying what possibly could have happened. I've been researching this case since it first started. I was away a couple of months on Nicola Billy's case, another case that I was really keen on getting justice. It did not end up well in that case. And I'm scared that this same history may repeat itself. And the Ida Moscow case may end up to be unsolved. Now let's think for a second. If the FBI had so much important information, and if the FBI is saying that the white Hyundai Elantra that belonged to what's his name? Brian Christopher Koberger, if they're accusing him for this crime, why haven't they and the prosecutor handed over the information? If it was such a straightforward case, a clean-cut case, we would have seen things by now. Ann Taylor wouldn't have been struggling and complaining that she's not getting the evidence. What are these people actually hiding? Who is involved in this quadruple case is important. Is it organizations that can't be touched? Could it be the Greek lifestyle, which I personally believe? But you know what? I don't only believe it's the Sigma Chi fraternity boys who are involved. I believe there are other people involved. I hate to say this, but I'll be honest with you. This is what I believe. I believe that the 4 victims had different enemies. Different enemies for different reasons. Sigma Chi being the first. And they decided, all the people who had beef with them decided to gang up on them. The reason I say that is because they divided themselves. Some were waiting in the corner club, like Adam, Jack D, allegedly, and all the people in the corner club. Jovita was there. He saw them in the corner club. He admitted himself and said that Maddie was very intoxicated and she was hitting on tables and such things, if you remember. So I think the plan started from the corner club. Then it followed. It came. The whole plan came towards the Grub truck. We saw the pictures they were watching. We heard people yelling out Xana's name, everything, and E's name. We saw how the crowd was acting in the Grub truck, how they were looking at Maddie and Kaylee. Even the sorority girls, some of them. We've even heard rumors from the grand jury that DM heard rummaging upstairs, and she thought it was the Sigma Chi fraternity boys. That's why she called them first. Now, all this can't be a coincidence. I refuse it to be a coincidence, because after watching all the things on TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, when this case first happened, you could see David be taking pride of some of the things. Because I showed you all my last clip. David B clearly says to the other David, it's not David L, another David he's talking to, he said that not everything in the 4chan is true. Now think about that. Think about, just digest what he said. Not everything is true. So my question is, what is true and what is not true? Because he admitted that some things are the truth. By saying not everything in the 4chan is the truth, that means some things was a lie and some things are the truth. And when the guy asked him, which part wasn't the truth? So he said the part of the unalivings. Now I don't believe that. If some of it is true, that means a lot of it can be true. In fact, that means everything can be true. To back up my theory, let's not forget the Sigma Chi fraternity boys were under investigation. So that is really important. The president of the Sigma fraternity said that they didn't have cameras, CCTV cameras, surveillance cameras outside, so they can't confirm who was at home and who was out. The Sigma Chi fraternity boys know exactly what happened. There's a reason for DM to have called Hunter, and Hunter called E's brother. I heard there were people, they were, what was the word they used? A flock or something. There was dozens, there was many people outside before the police came in. And people have already been inside and outside the house. So a lot of them have tampered with the evidence. This may be far-fetched, but if anything is tampered with, they could have easily planted someone's knife sheet. Or it doesn't necessarily mean that the knife sheet belongs to BK. It can, because this is only touch DNA. This is not blood DNA. This is not fluids DNA. This is just touch DNA. For BK to say that Miss BF knows everything, or she can exonerate him, what if BK was buying drugs, allegedly, from maybe one of the surviving roommates? The reason I say that is I've showed you all the Venmos people were sending to Bethany Funk in 2021 and 2022, and it was all about, trigger warning, coke, like cocaine, I would assume. They were giving each other code languages. So what if BK was buying drugs? That's not far-fetched. If he was using heroin for 5 years, allegedly, He came clean. Many people have relapse. What if he was buying pills or marijuana or something from that house? That house was known to be a party house, more like a party venue. And every little detail is important. We shouldn't leave one stone unturned. It's important. This could be connected even with Hannah Clear. On the 14th of November was Hannah Clear's birthday. Allegedly, Maddie or Kaylee, one of them, was bullying her. It was said that Hannah Clear's brother was seen that night at Idaho, Moscow, driving a white car. We have Jack D, which I'm going to come to soon, because Jack D is one person I've always put the spotlight on, and the Sigma Chi fraternity boys. They had more motives on these victims. This was targeted crime. There was blood on the walls. For the police to have come at once and said it is targeted and all that, they must have found something in the crime scene, besides 3 unidentified male DNAs that they don't want to even talk about. What are they hiding? The 3 boys at the band field, 2 of them had on clothes that didn't fit them. One had on a shirt that was too big. The other one had a shirt that was too small, that looked like a female shirt. 2 of them had on Van shoes, black and white Van shoes. So did Saeed. We know DM has a pair of Van shoes. I know the college kids and Van shoes are quite common there. But a lot was happening. A lot was happening that night around that areas with so many students creeping around, even at the Grub truck. So that is just putting this out on the surface so that people could take a better look. It is important. Many people have asked me, when you make the Grub truck, why don't you highlight the people you're talking about? Why don't you say the names? I try to avoid it. I've seen some other creators do that, but I can't do that. That is wrong, because we are still in the phase of allegedly. So right, certain people's names have been in the mix from day one, like Jack S, Jack D, Sigma Chi fraternity boys, Joe Vito. Number 9, number 8, we can clearly see what they're doing, but then to go and write the names and circulate, I can't do that. Need to be more mindful in that sense. But then not to do anything about it and not to mention them is not right either. Because if Brian Christopher Koberger didn't do this crime, who did this crime is important to know. It's important to find out so that we get the correct justice for these 4 victims. And now, before I talk a bit about Jack D, there's another 2 things that I want to quickly mention. I'm really interested in what was going on in 1122 Kings Road way before the murders. I mean, a couple of weeks, couple of months before the murders. Xana got her dad to change her locks. That's really important. I focus on that part from that part since day one. And then we have Kaylee, who was finishing her studies from home. She was homeschooled. Why is the question. Were these 2 girls scared for some reason? Did they know that something was up? And another question I have is, how come Xana, Kaylee, and Maddie were cremated? How come they were cremated? Is it because they were so badly injured, so badly done with, that the parents had no other choice but to cremate their beautiful children? Could that be the possibility? We don't know if E was buried or cremated, because his parents keep it on the down low, which I do understand each and every parent and how they act when it comes to getting justice for their children. I do appreciate that the Gongalves family, the G family, are out there, but I personally don't believe they should be out there that much too, because when there's a lot of mixed messages and mixed answers that we've got from Steve and his wife. I wonder why Maddie's mother's not talking. I know she's destroyed, but I really wonder why. Her father spoke a bit, but the mother never spoke. And I really want to know, although it's none of our business, want to know why the triplets, his parents, are so tight with the Sigma Chi fraternity boys. Is it because these are all rumors and speculations and that they know that there's nothing out of it? Is it that they trust the two Davids? Or is it because they know it's too late? He is gone. Like they said, they have the other two, Maisie and Hunter, to think about. But why would you have your children in the same fraternity that were mistreating your son and could have ended his life and ended the other people's life? Just a question. But I guess everyone seeks for justice in a different way. But Stacey Chapin said from the beginning, the burden and the torch is for Moscow Police Department to carry and solve these crimes. The question is, Moscow Police Department was declining everything from the start. Not because that they put it on a gag order. This was before it was on a gag order. Look at what Joe Vito said. He contacted the police. The police did not contact him. Look at what the private driver said, who drove Kaylee and Maddie home, and he drove them to the corner club. He said that he contacted the police. The police did not contact him. And he said that the police said, we already know you drove them home. Obviously, the police knew that because they didn't went and did their own homework. They didn't even know that the Grub truck Twitch video was out. It's because Kaylee's wonderful sister went and did the right things. If it wasn't for Kaylee's sister, the police would have kept everything in the down low and swept it under the carpet. Yes, there you have it. I'm saying that directly because I'm fed up. This isn't fair for these 4 students. They deserve their justice. How come Moscow police that all these people are... How come Moscow police, all these students and all these witnesses seem to be contacting y'all? But you weren't interesting. They had to actually, even Jovito said that he was so tired of calling that he took it upon himself to go directly to Moscow Police Department and give them the information he had. Same with the driver, the private driver. That is the reason I believe that the previous timeline between 3 to 4 was right. Everything that the police debunked from the start, I'm re-looking at it. I'm not debunking it, and I've never debunked it. Because they say actions speak louder than words. Look at the actions. Look at what was happening between 2 to 3. Or actually between 2:30. No, from 2 to 3:30. People were yelling out Zan and E's name at the Grub truck. We saw 4 figures running at 3:12. We saw Saeed and the 3 boys in the band field coming from that direction. We saw what picture Saeed was watching. I zoomed zoomed into his device and showed you. When I showed you all these pictures, it was, I remember, April last year, 2023, or March, and it looked like a young female was sitting in a sitting position on the bed. Everyone used to tell me it's too blurry and I don't know how you're seeing things and you need, indirectly saying you need help for seeing things, such things. What happened? We had Kaylee's mother and father come 4 months ago and say that Kaylee was found in the sitting position, just exactly as I described. So everything that the police say, I per se debunk it. Now I'm wondering if the students were actually tied up, if they were gagged. The reason I say that is because the police debunked it. But how come there was so much rumors going about that in the beginning? Interesting. I showed you the picture Saeed was watching. He was zooming into someone with a mask. A white mask, or they put a ski mask, or they painted their face white. Something was not right, and you could see the two eyes popping out. We saw the pictures Jovita was watching, and all he could say was that the girls were intoxicated and Maddie was intoxicated. Jovita, why don't you show the police the pictures you have? Quite interesting. I don't think you expected someone sitting in London to just zoom into your phone device. Neither did you, Saeed. I'd intend to continue exposing everything I see because Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan deserve their justice. So do their families. And if Brian Christopher Coburg is innocent, he deserves his justice too. Now, I'd like to end up with the final one is, besides the Sigma Chi, somebody else that I always keep my eyes open to is Mr. Jagdi. The Davids in the Sigma Chi have been very important for me from day one, but so has Jagdi. Crime of passion, like the mayor said. Jagdi, what happened to your fingers? Why were they so badly injured? On the TikTok. It was in your TikTok, that picture. I think it was your profile, I can't remember, but it was on your TikTok. You shut it down the next day. Why was your hand so swollen in the memorial 2 weeks after the quadruples? So obviously it was healing, but it was quite swollen. I even showed pictures of when you came to collect your dog, Murphy. When you zoom into your hand, it was swollen. Your eye was swollen too. I remember people saying, oh, obviously he was crying that his ex-girlfriend got killed and they were on and off and off. Could be possible. But you look like you came out of a fight club, Jagdi. Where were you? Why was your hand so swollen? And you coincidentally have a 2013 white Hyundai Elantra. This case is just astonishing. You couldn't make it up. This case is sad because most of the students knew it. And they all were somehow involved by keeping their mouths shut. I think even the sorority girls could have been involved. They were busy sending Venmos to. Where's Jack K, who was sending Venmos? A young man, his mother, called the FBI and she said, my son said he saw Ian Zan at 2 a.m., at the Sigma Chi fraternity. And the FBI and the police did not get back to her. And she was wondering why it wasn't taken serious. did Z and E get unlived at the Sigma Chi, Linder Lane, Queens Road, or in 1122 Kings Road is the question. Why did the girls' surviving roommates decide to call Hunter Johnson first? Why didn't they call Jack D? Why didn't they call the Davids? Why didn't they call Hunter, E's brother, and Maisie first? Hunter was called by Hunter Johnson later. And keep in mind that the police said right from the start for a very long time that we never said that the surviving roommates are witness. We said they were just there. So they were under scrutiny too. They were being investigated too. And I won't be surprised if they got a deal cut for information that they have. Now let's think about why, example, just say for example, I've never said this before, but in case there's a cover-up, why would there be a cover-up from the police's side? Because this is about a university that will go down the drain. Students and parents won't let the students enroll there anymore because it's an unsafe place. They proved themselves. But after the murders, there were still parties going on. Look at the disrespect. Nobody was scared. Why would they be scared? They know who this is. They knew this was a personal beef and personal revenge. I don't think anyone's scared of the Sigma Chi fraternity boys or whoever did this. I think they used Brian Christopher Koberger as the scapegoat. Unless we heard rumors that Jack D was under investigation because he hired someone to take care of the girls. Did he hire Brian Christopher Koberger? Or did he frame him? All these questions need to be answered, but I want to know why. I want to know why Jack D's hands were swollen. And I want to know, most importantly, why the two surviving roommates survived. Did someone cut them a deal? And I want to know why Murphy was left unharmed. Jack D knows Murphy, his dog. Adam knows Murphy. We've seen him on TikTok playing with Murphy. I'm sure Jack S knows Murphy. The Sigma Chi boys know Murphy. And everyone who entered 1122 Kings Road knows Murphy. Please let me know what you all think. Share your thoughts. Have a lovely summer vacation. May the correct justice be done. And if I'm not wrong, one of the latest news I heard, it's not a fact, is that the judge is actually considering changing the venue. And I think that would be the best thing. They need to change this venue so that the correct justice can be served. It'll be definitely, if they change it, they'll change it to Boise, Idaho. But Boise, Idaho is another interesting place because we have Bethany Funk, Dylan Mortensen, Jack Showalter, and Jake, Maddie's boyfriend, who all graduated from Boise, Idaho High School. So pay attention. Jack S., Jake, Bethany Funk, and Dylan Mortensen know each other well. When a group knows each other well, they can work together as a team and get away. For all you know, DM and BF are working well with the police. Because the police need something from them, allegedly. This is a cover-up, I believe. Anyway, have a lovely day. Bye. Allegedly.